Jordan Henderson, we just wanted to speak on this because it's come out this morning.
This is truly laughable. I mean, I'm not laughing because it's that laughable.
He's come out this morning. There's Adam Crafton's done an article with him in The Athletic. He's obviously gone out to Saudi Arabia, not spoken about that. A bit of controversy around it for numerous different reasons. But the quote that's come out this morning is that Jordan Henderson wasn't motivated by money to move to Saudi Arabia. Do you believe him, Mark?
Well, you know what? It's complete and utter bullshit. Yeah. Look, I just wish people would tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know, the 3 reasons I've gone to Saudi Arabia, and none of them are money.
Yeah.
I like to travel. You know, I really want to top up my tan, and I really think I can innovate and change culture that's been going on for thousands of years.
Yeah.
I've got my rainbow laces in my bag. I'm thinking by December I might put one on.
If I'm allowed.
If I'm allowed. And also, I do not want that to affect my wages. Yeah. You know, I am not willing to have a pay cut in any way. But it's not about the money. I know that I'm earning probably 10 times more than I was at Liverpool, but they didn't really make much of an effort to keep me. Yes, because you're on 10 times more, Jordan, than what you're on before. You know, they were only going to pay me £150,000 a week. That's not much of an effort compared to 800 grand a week. But it's not about the money, no. You know, I'm really not about the money. You know me. I'm one of the people. You know, I'd rather go to Poundland than Waitrose. You know, I'm happy buying 5 Mars bars for £1 than a lovely Caesar salad from Waitrose.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want a roast turkey. I want turkey faces.
Yeah,
exactly. It's exactly
Dairy Lee over, you know,
a nice mature Cornish cruncher
or a camembert.
Oh yeah,
a baked camembert, bit of veg.
Goldbridge shaves cheese would be a great podcast.
Yeah,
and a smelly one.
but it is nonsense.
Well, we were talking earlier as well.
Who do they think we are?
Yeah, who do they think you are? I was going to say it just needs more. Players they just need more common sense, because when Gerrard went, I was telling you, there was the interview. I can't.
He's laughing about it before. It's supposed to be funny now.
He went, there's 3 reasons why I've come to Saudi Arabia. It was about a 3-minute video, and none of the reasons why I'd come to Saudi Arabia were money. We all know you are going to Saudi Arabia for money. That's fine. Just admit it.
This is quite interesting, because when I was on tour doing the United Stand shows this year,
and that was for money. That was for money.
And on the this really, I don't know what this means. Maybe somebody listening can tell me, because I sort of stumbled when somebody asked a question and they said, you know, what's the thing you enjoy the most about YouTube and doing this sort of thing? And I didn't really have an answer ready, so I just the money as a joke, and everyone went, it was got a really big laugh. So throughout the show then and other shows, if there was an opportunity to say, another question, what do you say to all your haters who give you shit on Twitter? I said, I don't say anything, because they'll be at work while I'm just rolling around in my money. You know, and it gets a laugh. So my recommendation to Jordan Henderson and Steven Gerrard is, if you told the truth, people would just, if Jordan Henderson said, obviously it's a huge amount of money, I know I've thrown my morals in the bin for this, but ultimately I'm only here once, and instead of having one Ferrari, I've now got a fleet. I can basically buy Rotherham if I want to. The reality is, what league are Rotherham in?
Championship. They've managed to keep their championship status.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rotherham.
One of the Chuckle brothers on the board of directors.
Says it all.
Won the Johnston Paint Trophy a couple of years ago.
Well done, Rotherham.
Sorry, Papa John's.
Maybe it's more expensive than I thought. Let's move on to Stoke. But they're doing all right.
Go further down.
Scarborough.
Stockport.
Lincoln.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not saying they're bad places, but anyway, Jordan Henderson, if you just said, I'm in Saudi Arabia because I want to earn a lot of money, people would probably laugh, in my experience, and go, well, you know what, fair play. How many people leave their job because of money?
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with
going for money. I don't want to call you a hypocrite, though, but doesn't this tie into the sort of Maguire debate, where you're saying Maguire needs to leave to West Ham, where he'll be definitely getting paid less money, so he wants to stay at Man United, where he can, in his short time playing his football and having his career?
Well, I am a hypocrite, because that directly impacts on me. Jordan Henderson playing football in Saudi Arabia as an ex-Liverpool player, I don't care.
It'd be great
Harry Maguire screwing my football club over for money. Well, there's a different angle to that.
It'd be great.
The mercenary rubbish.
All right. It'd be great if Henderson was just doing the interview while sat in a gold suit, and then he really owning it. Just sat there in his mansion, maybe a tiger next to him, holding it on a leash, and just saying, yeah, it is all about the money.
But it's like, the equivalent of this is being in a nightclub, 20 years ago, because I don't know what people do now in relation to courting. But
they don't call it courting.
Yeah.
I think that's a big one.
What do people still hold doors open for women and pay for drinks and buy? Anyway, my point is, if you were out with Jordan Henderson in a nightclub 20 years ago and there's a good-looking girl giving him the eye, and he goes, "No, I'm not interested in her. She's probably never read a book in her life." I like that one.
Yeah.
And you know what that one looks like. There's nothing wrong with it.
That's fine. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with saying, "I'm there for the money," because we know you are. We'll ridicule you because you say, look, I may be many things, but not many people would associate the word idiot with Mark Goldbridge. I think if we put that to the vote, most people wouldn't.
Yeah, so most of your fans.
So don't treat me or Will or anybody else like an idiot, Jordan. Own it. You're there for the money. I'd be there for the money.
Sure, well, he didn't even need to do the interview. Like, I don't get the point of doing the interview. It's just so naive from an experienced player.
Well, your mate Southgate certainly didn't prep himself last week in the press conference, did he?
Should we move on to the either-ors?
Yes.
We've had lots of great ones in from the community tab, but I wanted to start with a different direction. There was a guy called Groot on Twitter that's a big fan of the podcast, and he said, Dan Burn or Sergio Reguilon, who would you like at Manchester United? And I thought this was great because it ties back in. Last year we did a team of the season where Dan Burn was up for debate. Did he get in when we were doing it with Foster?
I reckon you outvoted me, yeah.
But obviously plays left back, having a tough
He's
season.
not having a good season though, Dan Burn.
No,
Is Reguilon not a little bit like,
I thought Reguilon was great when he first came to the Premier League, and
it's a bit like blind dates, isn't it, Reguilon? You just don't know what's behind the door.
Yeah, hopefully he does well. But I think
sounds nice.
But with Dan Burn, it ties into sort of maybe a bigger chat around Eddie Howe, where he got the most out of that team for the last 18 months, and not are we seeing the end of the cycle, but it's.
I think I would actually go for Dan Burn over Reguilon.
Really?
Just because he's got more of a CV over the last 12 months.
Okay.
Reguilon probably is potentially better, but Dan Burn's, performed.
Okay, we'll leave it there because we're all Dan Burn fans on this podcast. The big one coming out, you've covered it extensively on the United stand, but we are saving football here, Mark. Big fight coming in Manchester United. We spoke a little bit about it, but Jadon Sancho or Ten Hag, but I think I already know the answer on that one.
Yeah, I think, well, look, everybody can answer this because ultimately, if you've been living under a rock, you might not know what's going on. But effectively, Manchester United lose to Arsenal, and Erik Ten Hag is asked why Jadon Sancho is not in the squad. And effectively, he says, I picked 4 better wingers based on training this week. Some people think that was wrong to do that. I would say if you're asked a direct question in a press conference with lots of people listening, you could say he's injured. Well, Sancho could still come out and say, I wasn't. He's ill. I wasn't. Or you could go no comment and people go, oh, that means he's done something he hasn't. So I think at the end of the day, he's answered the question, as is his right as a manager, to say, I've got 4 wingers. I've chosen them ahead of Jadon Sancho based on what I believe is their form at the moment. This is followed up within half an hour. He couldn't type quick enough. Half an hour later, I'm a scapegoat. It's not true. I'm satisfied with my performance and I have trained well this week and I'll continue to train well. And I just think, you know what? If this was Arsenal, Man City, Birmingham, it's out of order, Will. Ultimately, the manager must have respect. And I also think as well, as soon as that player does that, Arsenal fans will look at it. Man City fans, Liverpool fans will look at it and go, I wouldn't want him at our club. I don't like that. Ultimately, it's the modern players' arrogance and the people they have around them, because the best thing to do is to empower yourself with that frustration. I mean, I'm sure he is frustrated. Yeah. I'm sure he does think he's better than Anthony, and I agree with that. I think you should back yourself and think, I should be in that team. But there's injustice in life all over the place. The reality is he has to channel that frustration. And it may well be, surprise, surprise, Will, that may well be a bit of a kick up the backside from Ten Hag to see how he reacts to it. And if he reacts to it by getting his head down, not like you with Southgate, and works hard, he's reacted to that really well. He's actually walked into the trap of, I knew I was right about him. Hello, I'm Mark Goldbridge. You might remember me from the video you've just watched. Well, I'm here to tell you about the podcast, Goldbridge Saves Football, with me and Will every week on a Tuesday. Download it, listen to it on all the popular podcast outlets. Links in the video description. Goldbridge Saves Football. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Make sure you support us and listen to it.